just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. So loud as the hours pass, we're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay on forever, we'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be, we're gonna be two hearts running wild. Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon, we lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass, we're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be, we're gonna be the best we ever had. And we'll stay young forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. The moonlight, summer sky, it was the best we ever had. And we'll stay young forever. We'll never have regrets. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. We're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Hey everybody, I'm Tammy. I'm the Siberian Wind, and I am glad to have you along. I apologize not really in advance. I apologize after the fact. Apparently there was a scheduling snafu with YouTube. I'm attributing it to the time change because my Sunday impromptu live, I had a little bit of a hiccup with it when I scheduled it, and YouTube kind of changed it. And obviously tonight kind of had everybody logged on an hour early, so at least you guys aren't late and missing me tonight. So I want to go through the chat and say hi to everybody. I see Joyce was here. I've got Glenda. I see Lisa. I see Giovanna. And let's see who else. That's everybody so far, but that's okay. I'm glad to have each and every one of you here. I see Glenda says, got my Dookie last Tuesday on the 5th and just took it out of the box today. I am seriously hoping that I win the So Be It Quilts giveaway and get that Dookie for free. I don't have any money to put towards another machine. Not that I need another machine. You know, I need another machine like I need another hole in my head, which I don't. But I would love to have it. Hi, Andrea. I see you there. I'm glad to see you there tonight as well. Giovanna says, we change our time at the end of March. That's kind of unusual, but yeah, that works. I know you're in Italy, so it's interesting how different sections of the world do the time change. I know the United States is still kind of in that decision phase where some places, obviously Arizona doesn't change time, but other places are like putting things in place, trying to avoid another time change. It would be so much easier on my schedule, on the dog's schedule, just to not change time, but I know why they do it. I know it's to conserve all that daylight. Lisa said, brought my jelly beans and M&Ms. I love it. Thank you very much. Glenda said that she was watching Debbie's replay that I missed. I've got to go back and watch it too. I have not had a chance to do anything. Joyce says, I'm just happy you're safe. Thank you so much. It's nearly midnight for Giovanna. Now, after the time change, it's going to go back to being 1 a.m. You know that, right? We don't get that kind of lucky. Yeah, I'm safe. I don't know what the hiccup is with YouTube. So once we get off this live tonight, when I schedule next Tuesday's live, I will go in and take a look and see what's going on and see why my time kind of shifted. It wasn't intentional. It wasn't to throw anybody off, but yeah, it did shift. So, I know. Hi, Renee. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for joining and being in the chat. I appreciate it. If you guys see, I do not have my machine set up today. It is not coming out today. I've got a couple of different things that I want to talk about and go over. One of those is I will be moving at the end of May. I'm not moving off of YouTube, but I am going to be moving. I don't know. We don't have anything written yet. We don't know exactly where we're moving. We don't have anything. Nothing is firm, but I do know my lease at this apartment is up at the end of May. So there will be some transition stuff going on throughout the month of May. So I will do my weekly Tuesday lives. I may not have a whole lot of my impromptu lives in May, but I will keep my schedule of my Tuesday night lives. So you guys will either see me here in this studio, or you will see me on my phone just doing, hey guys, I'm here, I'm sitting here hanging out. This is where I have a Wi-Fi signal, anything like that. I will find one way or the other, but I will keep my Tuesday night lives going. That is not going to go anywhere. Just my impromptu lives. There probably won't be any for May unless I bring you guys on to watch me setting up in my new place. Again, that's going to be up to whether I have internet, all of that kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't have any details yet, but that will be going on during the month of May. So my goal, we are almost halfway through. Yeah, today is the 12th. So yeah, we are almost halfway through March. So I do have some things I want to try to get done in March. I was planning to have my temperature quilt pattern ready to go by the middle to end of April. That may not happen just because there's going to be a lot of chaos and a lot of things going on. I also have a couple of other things going on in my personal life that will also be happening in May. So it may shift things a little bit. I'm hoping it doesn't shift things a whole lot, but just be prepared. If I am kind of not keeping up, there is a lot going on in the background. So it's not that I'm falling behind or I'm not trying to, keep in touch with you guys, but it is that stuff going on in the background. Hey, I've got an offer to set up a studio for lives. Awesome. Yay. So you guys may get to see and or hear a special guest. So there is a possibility. I just got offered a studio for live, so that might happen. That way I don't have to move everything every week or so. So we will see. I am going to get to these in just a minute. I do want to talk about the prismatic star. Glenda said today is my oldest son's birthday. He's 44 years young. 44 feels old. I'm not quite there, but I'm close. I'm close. But happy birthday to him. I'm proud. That's awesome. We ought to celebrate Glenda's son's birthday, but you don't want me singing. That is not my thing. I do not sing. That is not happening. So let me talk a little bit. Hang on. I just realized that I have left my rings on my necklace. So let me take them off real quick so I can put them back on and not be thinking about it in the background. Andrea just said, I just read that it was midnight there. Yeah, it's not midnight here. It is 5:01 p.m. here. So that would be 7 p.m. Eastern time and 4 p.m. Pacific. So yeah, we're definitely not at midnight yet. Oh, no. Okay, I'm sorry. Andrea was reading that it was midnight where Giovanni is. Gotcha. Okay. I lost a few pages. Okay. So this quilt right here, this is that prismatic star quilt pattern that I have been working on. And if you can see off to the side, down here, it is not completely put together. And that's kind of a good thing, is because I will be taking it apart. So there's the shoe. I have to take that whole thing apart. It's not lining up the way that it should be, and I'm not okay with it. I've decided that I'm not going to let it stay. Let me pull it down let me pull down the part that I can show you real quick. That'll help explain why. So this is one half of the quilt, an entire one half of it. And I'm going to bring you guys to the machine where you can still see me as well. And so down here at the center of the quilt, if you can see, because I've got my hand behind it, things are not lining up. I've got it, I thought it was about a ½ inch. It's actually probably more like 3/4 of an inch where things are off. And I have lined up everything that I could all across the entire section and across the back. Let me bring you guys so you guys aren't going to get sick trying to watch me move that quilt. So when you are looking at the outside edges of this quilt, everything looks lined up. And it is. The outside edges are lined up. So not just the black, but where the diamonds meet. And then you also are seeing the clean lines from one diamond to the next. But what I will tell you is that some of my sashing strips, and I'll bring the machine back up because I'm not going to be moving around a whole lot for this. So some of my sashing strips are much bigger than others. So I know it may be a little hard to see, but this sashing strip right here next to the purple is not even as wide as my finger. However, this sashing strip on the other side is as wide as my finger. I mean, it's not a whole bunch bigger. That's okay, Andrea. I understand. You're very welcome. I'm glad I can put captions on for you because I know how important it is to be able to read everything. So yes, that is fine. Absolutely. So like my sashing strip here, where this red is very narrow. It's narrower than my finger. However, this next sashing strip next to this blue is as wide as my finger. So this should not be happening. Hi, Georgie. Glad you are here. Thank you for joining. I really do appreciate it. So what you missed so far is I'm explaining I am going to be taking this entire quilt top apart. I almost got done. I had 1/4 left. This is 1/2 of the quilt. And then I have 1/4 still hanging up on the wall. And then I have some of the diamonds for the last remaining quarter hanging on the wall as well. I don't have all of them, but most of them. So what I'm thinking happened, hi Tessa, glad you are here. One thing that I am thinking that happened is that I stretched something. And there's just no fixing it. So what I'm going to do, here's one of my not pieced together diamonds. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take all of the white sashing off and I am going to replace it with a different fabric. So the white sashing is coming off. It will be replaced with another white, but it won't be a white batik. This is seeming super thin compared to the other fabrics in the quilt. And if the entire quilt was made out of batiks, it would be different. But I screwed up somewhere. And I don't know if it's because the batik is a different texture than the rest of the fabrics or what, but I'm going to take all of the sashing strips off and I will thoroughly press and starch heavily each of my diamonds, and then I will trim them all to the exact same size. So every single diamond will be the same size as all the other diamonds in the quilt. Whether that's the same size that they are right now or whatever it is, I will trim them all. Yep, I'm going to have to take the whole quilt apart. I've got all the diamonds sashed and I've even got them all trimmed so my sashing isn't hanging over and I even took, this is also a quilt that I have taken time to rip my sashing strips off of and adjust them because I didn't put them on right to begin with. So I will be taking all of the sashing off. So all of these are going to come out. All of the ones in the one I just folded up, they're all going to come out. And everything is going to get pressed and starched. And I will cut new sashing strips that are the size that I want to go with. And they'll be about the same size as what the pattern called for. This is Prismatic Star. It is a Quiltworks pattern. I can let me go grab the link real quick so I can drop it in. It is still available. This pattern is still available from Quiltworks, and it's a fairly easy pattern to put together. However, I'm the one who messed it up. It is definitely not the pattern's fault. I got ahead of myself and decided that I must know best. And that is not always the case, as much as I would like it to be the case. It is definitely not always the case. So this diamond is going to get taken apart, and all of them are going to get taken apart, and they're all going to get pressed and starched and measured out to be the exact same size. And that way I don't have to worry about anything extra happening to it. So I will put new sashing back on, and then I will put it all back together. Oh, the blanket, that's okay. I don't mind. I'm going to put it you're going to put it in a shoe, aren't you? No, I don't think so. Yeah, thank you. Oh, show. Yes, I am planning to put this in a show. So, one of the other things, let me grab it back over here and I'll show you guys. One of the other things, and I kind of ignored it while I was putting things together, but I really shouldn't have. So, for example, right here, if you see this sashing, so the orange meeting the red, the sashing strip at the edge of the orange should match the sashing strip at the edge of the red, but it does not. Those do not match. So my points there should have matched. Shoot, yes, I agree. But so there's points where like this sashing strip isn't going to match anything, so it won't matter. And this one won't match anything, so it's not going to matter. And I ignored the fact that my sashing strips weren't matching between blocks where they should match. Because I was like, well, I can probably quilt over it enough that the judges won't mind because the overall effect will be beautiful. And when I'm running into such a huge discrepancy, I mean, you know what? Let me measure because this is saying, I keep changing how much this probably is. Oh, wow. This is more than 3/4 of an inch, you guys. This difference between the two is a full inch difference. So there is a full inch difference between this top section and this bottom section, or bottom and then top, whichever way it goes. So I screwed up something, and I didn't do it just half-heartedly. I threw my whole heart into screwing it up. Yeah, but I think we like your slip with the autocorrector, Georgie. It was kind of funny. It's really kind of funny. We have a good sense of humor here. We really do. So that brings me, let me swap you guys back off of the machine so you guys aren't going to get seasick watching all the movement down here. So one of the things I want to talk to you guys today about is forgiveness. Okay, I know that is a wild topic to come off of a quilting channel, but I want to talk about forgiveness. Okay, when you are a new quilter and you've got, let's say, less than 5 quilts under your belt or under your machine needle, people are going to say, that's okay, Giovanna, enjoy your sleep, I appreciate it. When you are a brand new quilter and you've got so few quilts under your needle, when you do something that is a mess up, that is not what you intended or not what you can leave in a quilt, whatever that is, whether it's you flipped a flying goose unit the wrong way, or you've got your diamond pointing the wrong direction, or you turned an entire block a different direction, no matter what the inconsistency is, whether it's something like that, or your seam allowances aren't lining up, or your seam allowances aren't this consistent throughout your quilt, people let you know that you need to be kind to yourself and forgive yourself for making a mistake because you're new. And it's really a hard thing to grasp, especially for personalities like mine. I'm a little bit OCD. I am. Whether you know it or not, I am a little bit OCD. However, I have never had that kind of situation where I've been new enough to quilting and been in a group or show or anything else where somebody has said, it's okay, you're still new to this, nothing to worry about. Every group, when I started joining groups, I had been quilting for a long time already. Not extensively, not nothing major, nothing breathtaking, nothing to publish in a book, nothing to write a pattern about, nothing like that. I did not have any of that kind of stuff under my belt, but I had enough quilts under my belt that people didn't tell me to forgive myself for making a mistake. And I never could grasp that concept because I would see these other new quilters join a group or join the groups that I was in, and people would go up to them and say, that's okay, you're a new quilter, you need to give yourself time. That is perfectly good for as new of a quilter as you are. That was never my experience. But it is something that I've had to learn on my own, is to forgive myself. So I am a fairly experienced quilter, and the majority of my experience is with piecing, binding, things like that. I don't really have a lot of experience actually quilting. So I will have a steep kind of experience trying to get my feet wet in actually quilting the quilts beyond like straight line quilting and stitch in the ditch, and be able to forgive myself. The quilt that I just finished a little while ago and is up on our wall already, my husband looked at it. He doesn't see any problems with it. I, of course, do because I made it. The quilt top was pieced beautifully. I was very proud of the quilt top when I quilted it. I'm not proud of my quilting, but I also know that it's going up on our wall, and it's going up on our wall to mainly for us to look at the front. It would look awkward to just put a quilt top up on the wall, so it does need to be a finished quilt. However, it didn't have to be perfect. I did not have to do anything specifically, any specific way, and I was getting used to my quilting machine. So I gave myself that forgiveness. When you've got something that you are trying to get done and you have a purpose for it, or you have a design for it, it is okay to need to rip it out. It's okay. If I could show you my stack of seam rippers, which I'd have to go dig them out, but I know exactly where they're at. Like I can point to exactly where they're at. It's just behind stuff right now. But I have over 20 seam rippers. Absolutely. I've got all the little kit seam rippers that you get, all of that. I've got my favorite one not far off, so Jackie is not far off. So it is okay to need a seam ripper. It's okay to drop your seam ripper occasionally as long as it doesn't hit your foot or make any damage. But it is okay to need a seam ripper, and it is okay, and you can forgive yourself for having some kind of mess up. I was excited. I wanted to get it done. I was super pumped thinking I was doing everything right. Obviously, I messed something up somewhere. So until I know what I did, I don't know what I did to fix it. Until I know what I did, I wouldn't know how to fix it. So I do need to take it apart, figure out what I did, and break it apart piece by piece to know exactly where my problems are. So I am going to rip it. It is just a fact of life. It's going to happen. So, but forgive yourself. Don't be ashamed to have a problem. So I've got that I want to finish. Let me show you guys what else I've worked on, because I have worked on other things. I am going to, there we go. All right. I am going to transition over and show you guys what I got done. So this is the Star Systems quilt by Elizabeth Hartman. I have laid it out on the kitchen floor. I do not have a very large kitchen, but it is large enough to lay these out. I do not have any extra room in the kitchen floor. If you see that teal block up at the top, that is all the way up against my stove. And then the black appliance off to the bottom left is a refrigerator. So I really don't have a whole lot of room. So this is the basics. The only block of that is completely assembled is the pink one down at the bottom left. Laura, you're not late. I understand. We actually had an issue with the time change as well. And Glenda said, I used to have severe OCD, but not so bad anymore. Just go with the flow. I completely get it. That's kind of where I'm at right now, is kind of going with the flow. But a lot of people, it's really hard to learn to forgive yourself. So yeah, this this quilt is going to go together. I don't know yet whether I'm going to put the sashing in. There is supposed to be sashing pieces between each of these blocks, so all four sides of the center, and then around like this dark blue, around the green, around the orange, and around the pink. There is supposed to be sashing and background, and I made double. So I did not make just this set. I have an entire complete set to do a second version. So, but I have not even started figuring out whether or not I am going to do, if I'm going to do multiples. So I don't know yet how I'm going to fix the layout to add my second set of everything. So I have 2 pink blocks, I have 2 red, 2 orange, 2 yellow, 2 green, 2 teal, 2 blue, 2 purple, and 2 gray. So I do have an entire second set of all of these, and I just have not decided yet how I'm going to lay it all out. What I will do, since this pink is already assembled, what I am going to do is I'm going to take and assemble all of these star systems that you see here, and I will assemble their sister blocks that are in the same colors. So I'm going to assemble all of that. I do have, let me zoom in, if this will let me. Yay, it's working. All right, and I apologize that it's a little grainy and that it's, this, I apologize that this is offset a little bit. But when you are making the flying geese units, especially these bigger flying geese units, Elizabeth Hartman did say in her pattern to sew your extra offshoot half square triangles that cut off of this. Go ahead and sew those together so you have units to put on the back. She did not say anything about all of these small stars. However, I did the same thing for those. Those small star system half square triangles, I believe, are coming out to be 1 1/4 inches. So they are really tiny. So they'll be 3/4 inch finished. And I don't remember the size on my half square triangles off of the big flying geese units. So once I know, then I can start doing some math and some calculation and start laying things out and see if I like an alternative layout than what she's chosen. I may add some of those half square triangles to the sashing pieces that would normally be here. And then I may put the extra star systems on the outside, and I will probably rotate them. So like the pink is down here in the bottom left. So I would put pink up in the top right, so on and so forth. So I may like flip it or rotate it or whatever to kind of give the quilt a bigger size, because this is only going to be 80 inches by 80 inches finish. And I do want a bigger quilt than that. So I'm going to bring you guys back over to me and take a look at the comments. Georgie says, thank you for saying that. Self-forgiveness is really hard for me. It is incredibly hard for most everyone. I have met one person in my entire life that was a quilter that did not have any problems if her quilt was not lined up, was not flat, there was no points, nothing. She honestly had no worries about it. She knew what she was making was going to someone who simply needed something bright, cheerful, and warm. And so that was her only motivation. A lot of her quilts, or the only quilts that I helped her with that I saw, were all squares. She didn't do anything with an angle, with a triangle, or anything like that. But everything was solely going to somebody just to keep them warm. That was all that it was doing. And she was just tying the quilts. So not that tying is wrong, not that tying has any less use than a machine quilted quilt, which is what I do. All of mine are machine quilted. So not that hers were any less than mine, but that's the only person that I've ever met that never had to learn that self-forgiveness. Everybody else that I've ever met has had to learn it at one point or another. Let's see. Laura said, let's see. There we go. Glenda, wow, beautiful, love the colors, thank you. Laura says, I understand the struggle with OCD. Sometimes I think I'm too OCD for quilting, but I'm working on it. Laura, there's definitely a place for us OCDers. I promise. There is definitely a place for us. She says also, I love those blocks. Thank you. Glenda says, I used to think the same thing, Laura, but not more. And so grateful that I am still able to sew. Yes, that is something to be thankful for. Rayanne, oh, good. I'm glad you're here, Rayanne. She says, that's turning out beautiful. Thank you. Laura says, there are days I have to walk away. Usually the next day I feel better about it. Yeah, that's usually how it runs. That really is. Once I realized yesterday that I was going to have to rip this, I stopped working on it immediately. I didn't put another single stitch into it. I didn't get mad at myself, but I told my husband, I was like, look, I'm going to have to take this away or rip all this out. And he's like, why? Because he was shocked. He had no idea. And I said, well, let me show you. And so I pointed out to him all the problems. And he's looking at it and he says, well, even with those, it's still gorgeous. But if you feel like you need to rip it out, go ahead and rip it out. And learning to accept myself the way my husband accepts me is such a challenge. He's so good at it. I need to take a class, I think. But yeah, definitely walking away is not a bad thing. I do have a deadline for this quilt, and I'm going to stick to my deadline. However, I could probably do the Elizabeth Hartman in the show now instead. If I did need to take a bigger break, I could do that, but I'm not going to. I do have a couple of other projects that may take place while I'm ripping that, so that's going to take a while to do. So I will probably get started on this quilt as well as finishing the Elizabeth Hartman or like planning it out or whatever and getting other things quilted. So the tempter quilt may be pushed off until after the move just because my stress level has been through the roof and my physical therapist is getting mad at me. So we're gonna work with that logic. The physical therapist, it's his fault. Okay, so I'm gonna bring you guys back down to the table just a little bit. Gonna make it where you guys can see the table and me. All right, so I have been tasked with a baby quilt, and the baby is due at the end of May. Go figure, exactly when I need to move by. Couldn't have timed it better. I do declare, she could not have timed it better. So I am going to, let me add some light from here. So this is a very pale pink and patterned fabric. I know it doesn't look like there's much of a design, but there's definitely some pink and peach tones to it. Renee says, I am stressed with you and I'm not doing any of the work. I'm sorry. Don't get stressed. Don't get stressed. Let me do the stressing. That's my job. So yeah, this has some peach and some pink and some blue or green or whatever. And it's very, very pale. And there is 2 yards of this. Yep, 2 yards of this material. So this is one fabric that is going to be going into the baby quilt, most likely. I have not decided for sure. So I sent the mom a message and said, okay, she sent me her colors and she said coral and dusty blue and cream. And so I sent her to Hobby Lobby. And these are some of the fabrics that she picked. And these are the 3 that I'm going to use out of what she picked. So I will go back and go get more fabric. And I sent her to Hobby Lobby because I have one here in town. So I could just go to Hobby Lobby here in town, pick up the samples of the fabric that she chose, and then go from there, which is kind of a great way to do it when you don't live in the same town. So this is one of the fabrics. And she chose hydrangeas for the flower for this child, but it's really hard to find hydrangeas in a coral. So she found this one that has roses and other flowers. And then there is this micro print version of it, and it has some blues and greens with it. And these are definitely not the dusty blue I was expecting when she said dusty blue. And then she also sent me this one. So there's the coral right there in the center, but it also has this yellow and orange. And then it has some turquoise and dusty blue and darker blues. So it's got quite a few different prints on it. So those are the three that she sent me, is these three. So we've got the corals going through all of them, but we've got the additional colors out of this darker one. And so I went to go find some fabrics. How many fabrics will I use in the quilt? I do not know yet. I'm thinking I'm going to use probably about 5 or 6 colors or 6 fabrics. I was originally going to do a log cabin, and I was going to do it as an offset log cabin where you have like these very, very big print or very detailed print florals on one half of the log cabin, and then the other half of the log cabin is a plain or a muted color. And I was also going to do it offset in size, so the florals were going to take up a bigger section. It was going to look kind of like a curved log cabin, but I don't think I've got the fabrics to do it. I don't think these fabrics will work well for that. So I'm thinking that I'm going to do an Irish chain. So I will be showing you how I do it, and I will be giving you measurements because it will be my own design. So I did pick up this fabric, and it is a lot brighter than all of the other fabrics that that the baby's mother chose. So we've got the corals in here, we've got those blues, and we've got a little bit of cream in there, but we've also got the oranges and the yellows that were in that brighter, more detailed print. So when I was looking at this, that is what I was planning based off of these two prints. So these are kind of picked out of that. It's Kennedy Forgiveness. I just accidentally touched my hot iron on the flannel like fabric. Oh no! Yeah, you kind of have to clean the iron after that. I'm sorry. I've done that. I've done it. All right. So this fabric right here, it does not photograph very well. It doesn't show up on camera quite the right colors. It is a peach color. However, it very much looks coral. Both on the camera and in real life, it does look very much like a coral more than a peach. So I can get away with using this as a border fabric. So this plaid would tie everything together without being overpowering. And I did also pick up this, and there is a lot of it. This is a peach colored, you like the log cabin idea? I do too. I don't know that it will work the way I want it to. Georgie says, I love the fabrics. I'm a new quilter. What's an Irish chain? Absolutely. I will show in just a minute. I will pull up my EQ software and show you guys what I came up with. So this polka dot is going to be my backing. It is a flannel, so I don't want to put it in the front with all the regular cottons. I do want it to be on the back. And the baby is in Tennessee, or will be in Tennessee, so it's not going to be super cold all the time, but the mom does tend to put these up for the babies so that they have them when they get older. They're more a keepsake than a use, no matter how much I would tell her otherwise. Let's see. I just wanted 2 arms for bears. Now I have to do an extra step. Yeah. Hi, Donnell. She says, hey there, Tammy. How are you doing today? I'm doing pretty good. I'm working on it. And we're working on it. You've definitely missed a lot. Not that you're late, but you've missed a lot, so you'll need to catch the replay. Because I got news. So I originally, when she told me dusty blue and coral, I'm missing a blue. I'm missing a fabric, you guys. Let me grab it. Hang on. You guys will get to see my jeans. I got jeans on, I promise. They're not pajama pants. All that's it, but it'll have to be work. Yep. I think that might be it. That or I've lost a fabric somewhere. Okay. So when she told me dusty blue, I went with these two batiks that I picked up at my local quilt shop. This one has leaves on it. And this one is more very muted, very like a mottled looking. There's not a lot of definition to it. Donnell says, no worries, replay is always better than no play. Absolutely. And I love people catching me on the replay too, because I get a lot of comments out of that. So I appreciate it. I really do. So these were my original blues. And so I was going to do blues and creams because she said blue and cream. Am I wearing fuzzy slippers? No, I am not. I do not wear fuzzy slippers. I get too hot to wear fuzzy slippers. Can't I use flannel for binding? I could. And I might. I don't know. But I'm not going to use it for a border. I'm not going to use it for any of the front unless it is just the binding. If you do, I will discuss binding. I do have a binding tutorial thing that I'm going to be doing. I have at least one quilt already ready to bind, and I do want to do that on one of my lives so you guys can see exactly how I do my binding and why I do it the way I do. Oh, but that one is cut straight. Darn it. I will cut a different quilt's binding, and we will discuss binding. So I am also going to use these two creams. So this first one is it's got a lot of leaves on it. It does have some dark patches. So like right through here, there's some gray. And I don't know how well that's showing up on camera. Here on this backside, you can definitely see it even from a distance. There is definitely some discoloration in the batik, and that is part of the batik. I mean, it's part of it. But I may want to try to avoid using as much of the dark sections when I go to piece the quilt. So we will see how it lays out. And then this one actually from a distance kind of looks like sunflowers. Like that's the pattern of it. And let me see if I can get one in the camera range. I don't know if you guys can see that right on the fold. It looks like a sunflower in the middle. So that's kind of the design of this batik. So it is a floral, but it is definitely more cream and tan. But none of the fabrics that the baby's mother chose have that cream. I mean, this is kind of a cream, but it's more of a white. So she really didn't choose things that actually match the color she told me. So what I'm planning to do is I will use, let me lay these out. And I don't remember the exact order, so I will have to adjust them. So there's those three. And that's going to be border. So that's going to be outlining it. Then I have this very, very bright print. And this is very muted, so it would probably go in right about there. And then I do want to throw some of these blues in. And I believe I was going to throw this one in at the back. And I would throw this one in at the middle or so. Kind of like right there maybe. And then both of these creams would be going kind of on top. So this is kind of my color layout right now. And this puts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fabrics in here. This is definitely too much for what I'm looking to do. But you can kind of see it's not completely just coral and dusty blue, but I think it will work well. And all of those look better together. And then, of course, this is going to be the outline binding or border for everything. And then this is going to be the back. So it will bring in a lot of those colors together. So let me show what an Irish chain looks like. Let me grab my screen real quick for it. And let's see. I know I have a printout of this, but I don't know exactly where it is. So I don't want to do that without pulling it up. All right, so let me grab my screen capture and let's edit that so it pulls up the screen I want to show you guys. All right, so this is my current plan. This is what an Irish chain basically looks like. An Irish chain is going to be where you have these lines going down the quilt at an angle, and they typically do cross. So you're going to see like multiple different designs. So when you are looking at an Irish chain quilt, let me go to my block and see if that will pull my, well, nope, okay. Okay, you guys can tell how much I honestly work in EQ all the time. So there are two blocks to this quilt. There is the blocks that are here where all of these crosses meet, and I have put this as a 6x6 or a 3x12 quilt, so there are 6 blocks of each. The other block is the background block, and so these will not be assembled the way that it shows up here in EQ. They will be assembled axes. Those are the blocks that make the quilt what they are. And this chain has 1, 2, 3, 4 colors, so it could be considered a four chain Irish chain. So when you see an Irish chain quilt, it is definitely based off of how many blocks are in a row. Donnell says, I love doing Irish chain quilts. Yes, I do too. It's been a while since I've done one, but it's not like they're that difficult, and it would be an easy quilt pattern for me to put together. A log cabin would be faster, and that's kind of what I was planning originally. However, the fabrics just aren't lending themselves to the look I was going for. So this is one quilt that we will be working on, and I may start the lives on this as of this upcoming weekend. So if you guys are hanging around, I will probably do a live on Saturday and one on Sunday, probably 3 to 4 hours per live. So if you do want to come hang out, that will be what I will be starting and working on. I do have to go pick up some more of the fabrics from Hobby Lobby because all I have are those little bitty pieces of those 3 that I'm working on. Thank you, Georgie. I appreciate that. So I am going to be working on like putting all of that together. So you guys will get to see, exactly how an Irish chain goes together, especially if you're going to just strip piece it. So I will, I did use EQ to plan out the quilt, but I'm not using the measurements EQ gave me. Electric Quilt, if you're not familiar with what EQ is, it is quilt design software. So there's a lot that you can do with that. And, there's a lot of flexibility with it. So I've got the Elizabeth Hartman, I've got the baby quilt, and we've got the prismatic star that I'm going to be taking apart. And yeah. So if you do want to learn how to do an Irish chain, that will be this weekend. Just know that all the other quilt projects that I'm working on are kind of in limbo right now, and we're going to be doing a lot of shifting back and forth, and a lot of it may be impromptu, just depending on how much time I have to work on things. I did get a funny bit of news this week. This past weekend, bear with me, guys. My throat is getting dry. So I work on a charity project every week, and all day Thursday, I'm working on that charity project. I don't work on anything quilting. I don't work on anything my charity project is a sewing project, but of course there's going to be cutting involved, there's going to be pressing, there's going to be different things involved in any kind of sewing project. But my charity project I do work on every Thursday, and I ran out of materials. And this is a project where you get your materials from someone else. It's not I go out and buy more materials, because that's part of the charity project. And I haven't said much about what I do. So, but I went to go pick up more materials from where I go to pick up more materials. I pick it up from someone else involved in this charity project. And I looked at her, she said, well, do you want to work on this one? I said, I would love to, but let's wait until the fall when I have time to spread it out, because I am going to be moving in May. And she looks at me, and it's not, she looked at me and she said, are you sure you really want to work on any of this before you move? I was like, do you really need to pick up, or she said, do you need to pick up any more material? I said, yeah, I'll go and pick up material so I can fill in if you need to, but I'll take a break until after I move. I think she was trying to tell me I was sewing too many. I was getting too much done. Andrea, before you take that star apart, I would like to talk to you about it. I think I see a way you can just take part of it apart, but not every block. I have looked, I would love to take you up on the offer, but what I will say is I have looked, like I've taken a few of the diamonds and I have laid them on top of each other. And before I sewed the sashing on, they were all the same size. After I put the sashing on, they are not all the same size. So I'm not going to be taking the diamonds themselves apart. Like the center parts here, I'm not taking that apart. I'm just going to take the sashing off and redo the sashing. Even if I did just take parts of it apart and like reline everything, I'm not 100% thrilled with the sashing fabric. I love batik fabrics. I really do. I love working with them. But combining them with this other fabric, I think was a bad idea on my part, because then I didn't take the time that I needed to take to not stretch things. So I am going to have to take it apart. I wish I didn't, but it is going to have to be, I'm going to have to trim all the diamonds at this point. And, I'm going to heavily starch them so that they're not moving again. And then I will definitely have to just, I'm just going to have to trim them. There's just no two ways about it, because all the sashing is coming out to be so many different sizes, and there's just no easy. That's fine, Andrea. Actually, do exclamation, I'll do it, exclamation FB in the chat. The sashing wasn't cut on the bias. It was cut straight. Andrea, that link, there we go. That link is going to take you to the Facebook group for all my subscribers. So absolutely go hit me up there. And I'll get you approved and put you in and all of that. So that way you can see, everything that's already posted, and I will be able to go from there. And it makes it easier to find me and chat with me there too. But I haven't started taking anything apart yet. But I do want, like I said, some of my sashing strips, when they come together between the two diamonds, it doesn't line up like it should. And there's not an easy fix. I'm at least going to have to take them apart from each other. So, I am okay with taking it apart completely. It's going to be time consuming. But it is something I can just sit in front of the TV and sit there with a seam ripper and just cut it away. And I will reuse the sashing for something else. I will use it in another batik quilt. I will not reuse it in this project. So it is going to come out of the project either way. But yeah, I'm open to the suggestion. So that's absolutely fine. So yeah, that, There was something else I was going to tell you guys. Oh, if you are, I know, Joyce, if you are still in the chat, I know you were interested in more information about Quilt, Wyoming. And Lisa, I know you're here. I think I saw it, Kennedy as well. If you are local to Wyoming or you are willing to travel to Wyoming, then there is Quilt Wyoming has been published out on the web. So you can now go to the Wyoming State Quilt Guild site and go check out the classes that are there. Andrea says, okay, I will get with you on Facebook in a bit. That's perfectly fine with me. So the classes that are going to be hosted, I have looked at some of them and have not decided what I want to take yet. I'm going to, because I just posted it, or I just saw the post about it probably earlier today. There are some classes that are going to be a half-day class. There's some that are 2-day classes. That Exploding Heart quilt that has been so popular and going around, there is a class on that. There is a wool and mixed media class. There's one that is all triangles and is supposed to teach you the Studio 180 design tools, which I have not used them before. So I might consider taking that. I have not decided yet. So there's a lot of good classes that are going to be hosted. Some of them, again, are 1-day classes. Some of them are 2-day classes. And it looks like the classes start on Thursday. Oh, and there's separate classes that are just Friday. Ooh, I may have to go looking. So next week I will show you guys some of the classes and what I might be considering taking if I have the budget to go get there. I'm glad you're still here, Joyce. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot that will be going on with Quilt Wyoming. If I am able to go, which I'm hoping to go, if I'm able to go, I'm going to take you guys along for the ride. So you guys are going to get to see like snapshots. I will post in the community. I will post on the Facebook group as I am in those classes or as I'm going around Quilt Wyoming, checking out vendors, things like that. I'm not a huge person for the people that go live during the quilt shows and like walk around talking to you live and showing you things, just because the signal tends to degrade because everybody's on their phones all at the same time. So I would tend to do, video or whatever and come back and share it later. So that will be coming up in July. We should go together. Absolutely. I'm game. We can make it a road trip. Of course, I'm going to probably stay overnight because I'm probably going to take a 1 to 2 day class, at least one. I usually try when I go to quilt shows, especially big ones that do have classes, I do try to take one class that I'm going to take that because it's something new that I haven't done before, so that I have some kind of understanding of what's going on. There's other classes that I take because it's just something that I think would look cool or would be fun. I've taken a class from Kimberly Einmo, absolutely a phenomenal teacher. I've taken a class from Renee Merrill, again, another very phenomenal teacher. So I have not had any of the classes through the teachers that are going to be here at Quilt Wyoming. So that will be a new experience as well. And this will be my first quilt. I can't talk, you guys. This will be my first Quilt Wyoming. So yeah, there's going to be a lot. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I do want to also say thank you. I did receive a very, very warm message. And it was a comment on one of my videos. And during the video, I said something about, I hope I'm not boring. And I hope I hope you guys are, enjoying the content. And I got the comment after the video closed, and it said that I wasn't boring, that they were enjoying my content, and they were enjoying seeing the way that I explain things and the way that I break things down, because it does make sense to them. And I want to say thank you. As a content creator, it is really hard to decide exactly what works. So for example, I know other content creators like to do these box openings where you get mail in and you show it and you're so excited about it. I'm not that kind of personality. I love mail. I love to open new boxes. I am so excited to open them. But I'm not, unless I've been told to, like, okay, I'm going to be sitting on your chat waiting for you to open this. I don't want to see your face. Unless there's something like that, I'm not a, let me open my mail in front of everybody. You know, I'm not that kind of person. I get giddy over scraps. You know, I definitely have my own groove to the way that I quilt. It is definitely different from what I see a lot of other people doing. And it's not that my way is any better than anyone else, but it is definitely my own way. I came across a content creator the other day, and one of the things that they said in their videos was that they do not do instructional videos. They do videos for quilters who are already experienced, so you get more ideas, and maybe their videos are a springboard for your creativity. And that really resonates with me, because I am one of those that I go watch people to learn from them. I don't go watch people because I want to learn a technique necessarily. If I learn one on the way, great. But I go to watch to figure out where I want to go with things. And so I'm hoping that my content does continue to inspire you, to spark that creativity, to give you that boost to your quilting journey, and gives you that outlet to be able to build further on what you want to do in your quilting journey, what works for you in your quilting journey. And you know, maybe I've got a few tips about life that help you too. So I'm very thankful for that comment. And I don't ever want to call anybody out, so I'm not going to say, you know, anything about who it was unless you want to say who you were. But I do want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because after I was, you know, feeling like, well, there's only 3 viewers in the chat, you know, okay, there's only 2 viewers in the chat, okay, it's you know, I've got these couple of viewers chatting, and I was very, very happy for it. But I was worried. I was very, very worried that it was because my content was boring. And so getting that comment just not only put a smile on my face, but put some warmth back in my heart, and I appreciate it. So thank you. So let's see, do I think I'll be going this year? I'll have to save it for next year. Absolutely, Joyce, no worries. And I think next year is going to be, it's not going to be in Cheyenne. I think it's either going west or it's going north. Quilt Wyoming, for those that are not initiated into it, my understanding is that it moves every year. So last year was in the central region, which is where I am located, in central Wyoming. So Quilt Wyoming last year would have been where I needed to go. But of course I didn't move to Wyoming until way late to get started with everything. So I didn't really even know about Quilt Wyoming, and much less know how to get registered or anything like that. So this year it is in Cheyenne, which is the southeast region of the state. And so it will move every year, and it just kind of rotates around so that everybody in Wyoming does not feel, well, it's always held in Riverton, or it's always held in Cheyenne, or it's always held this, or it's none of that. It is a traveling quilt event, so that each region gets their chance to host and their chance to show everyone else what is going on in their region. And I feel like that really is going to bring Wyoming together, and that's really kind of awesome. I've never seen it done that way, never been in a state that did it that way, so it's very encouraging to see that. So if you are going to plan for next year, Joyce, definitely, remember that it's not going to be in Cheyenne. And they will start announcing things. I'm assuming the same kind of time frame that they did this year. I think they started announcing that they were, I think I started seeing stuff in January and then February, and now, of course, we're in March, and they finally announced the class list. So, it's a delayed timeline, but it does look like it's going to be exciting. So I do not want to hang you guys on too much longer because I know this is just a sit and chat day. But you guys will be seeing a couple of lives go up this weekend. I've not got those scheduled yet, but I am going to sit down with my schedule for the weekend and go ahead and get those posted so you can take a preview as to when those are going to go live. And my goal is to get the entire baby quilt top done during this weekend. So I've got a total of, if I do 2-3 hours lives, that's going to be 6 hours. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think it would go together quite quickly. So we are going to see if we can knock that out in one day. And then the other day will be probably spent doing some more work on the Elizabeth Hartman pattern, or make sure you guys some quilting. I do not know. I may do the binding this weekend. I don't know. But I will be doing 2 different lives this upcoming weekend. Okay? So I want to thank you, Elle, for being here. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. Before you leave, make sure you've hit that thumbs up to like the channel. If you are watching and you are not able to chat, it is because you are not a subscriber for at least 10 minutes. So if you have not already subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of my content. I do not always do just the sit and chat. A lot of times I am doing the sewing and working on the different projects. So you guys, my voice won't change much. It'll still be me, but it will definitely be different content because I'm not going to be just sitting like looking at the camera. I'm going to be moving around. I'm going to be doing things, pressing, cutting, all of that. And especially because I'm going to be working on a pattern of my own design. You guys will actually get to have measurements. There will be pattern measurements this weekend. What size finished block for the Irish chain baby quilt? If I go with what I designed in EQ, it would be a 12-inch finished block. However, I don't think I'm going with that finished design or finished block design. I mainly did that so I could lay out my colors and see what I thought about the design and whether I thought it was going to be working. So I'm not 100% sure yet, but I will have the measurements if I don't put them in the description, I will have the measurements and I'll put them in the description after the live is over. So I will be working on it 100% live. I will pre-wash the fabrics and press them, but that's all I'm going to do in advance. How many projects do you do at a time? Normally I have 3. That is my normal max limit, is to work on 3 projects at a time. I think later this year I'll be swapping that up just a hair. So as of right now, I've got this is one project, this project right here, my Elizabeth Hartman, where this is one of the blocks. That is a second project. And then if you are a member of the Facebook group, if you are not a member, you can always do !FB for Facebook in the chat, and that will link you or give you the link to the Facebook group. On the Facebook group, I do have my super secret project posted up there. I can't talk about it on the live because, again, it is a super secret project. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. Bye, Joyce. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So I normally have 3. So I do have 3 right now. The temperature quilts, I added that onto my plate, and I definitely need to get it going. And then if the baby quilt, that was unexpected. I think it's just, maybe it didn't take it because it was 2 exclamation points. I'll get it. There we go. I think Nightbot doesn't like the 2 exclamation points, Renee. But you are more than welcome to come join the Facebook group. Thank you. It's Kennedy. I appreciate that. Yeah, so the Super Secret Project is there. The Prismatic Star and the Elizabeth Hartman patterns. That is my 3. The Tempter Quilt, I shouldn't have added that to my plate, but I did. So that makes it 4 or 4.5, depending on how you want to consider it, because I'm also writing the pattern. And then the baby quilt makes 5. So I wouldn't normally have this many, but it does happen from time to time. So when I go, basically once I clear my plate again, then when I pick up my next set of projects, I will pick out 3. I already know what one of them is going to be. And it is another paper piecing, but I think your guys are going to love it. So with leaders and enders, I will say that I should, but I have not been. I struggle sometimes I chain piece so much that I struggle with having an extra project sitting around to feed through the machine, but I might add some here in the next couple weeks or so. So let's see, I just got a Facebook request, so let me go get you approved real quick. Awesome. So you are now in the Facebook group, Renee. Yeah, I would love to do a Leaders and Enders project, but it is definitely not as easy with the kinds of projects I typically do. So I do need to, like when I change projects or whatever, if there is a way for me to do Leaders and Enders, I will do it. But it's really hard for me to incorporate that when I chain piece so many items. So, all right, well, I will see you guys on Saturday or Sunday if you join either of my lives then. And again, I will get those scheduled. I will have the schedule out on those, I'm thinking by Thursday morning. So you guys, if I don't get it scheduled tonight, I will have it by Thursday morning. So you guys can plan your weekend to come hang out and watch. Hi, Charlotte. Awesome. You're working on a fabric collage. I cannot wait to see it. That will be exciting. So don't forget to post that in the Facebook group so everybody can see once you get to a point that you want to post it too. I will be doing a show and tell or sew and tell at the end of March. So at the beginning of April, our first April Tuesday Night Live will be sew and tell. So anything that you put in the Facebook group, if you want it to be part of sew and tell, I will send out a reminder so you can come post it so we can share with everybody. So I'm going to get off of here, you guys, so I can work on sewing this Elizabeth Hartman and getting some stuff put together and possibly get some dinner myself. And if you have not seen my shirt, my husband picks out my clothes. Let me rephrase that. He doesn't pick out my clothes for the live, but he does pick me out clothes. So this is one of my Christmas presents from him. He does buy clothes for me that say sewing related stuff. So, yep, you guys can thank my husband. So thank you everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I'm going to sign off. You guys have a great evening.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals, they take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts hearts running wild.